She's a passionate mentor at heart, and Diana champions courage and self-belief, guided by her adopted personal mantra, Silencio Bruno. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, but she will tell us. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please help me welcome Diana. Hallelujah.
From the running community, so maybe I should. Now that we have a World Athletics Championship. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening once again. It gives me pleasure to be before you this afternoon. It's quite a privilege. Thank you, Mr. Doso. Thank you, Zion Pearl Publishers. Thank you, my co-authors, friends, family. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion, honoring us and supporting us. So, as indicated, like many of my co-authors, when I got the invitation to participate in the project, I had read so many books, so many self-help books to handle different issues that I wanted to improve myself on. And when I got this project, it was like an avalanche. So the ideas had been building up over and over, just, trying to help myself. How do I, like if you're a self-procrastinator, there's a book called Eat That Frog, Have you ever seen that book? It's green like a frog and it's Eat That Frog. So I have all those books, I read them, I try and implement, but then after a few tries, the habit dies. And when the idea came, so it was like an avalanche. There's so much knowledge, so much information in my head. I'm like, so where am I going to use all this? So thank you, because then it was very timely. So when I just started writing, the thoughts were just flowing and the information was just coming. So if you read that article from where I sit, you will see me referring to a lot of books because I read a lot. I have a lot of books that I read. So when I remember a point, I would remember, is this author? This is what she said. And I have quoted a lot of books. I hope it will be very useful, and you will be able to also refer if you want to find out more about a particular subject I have spoken about. Then you can go back and get more information from that author. So the experience was, it was very self-healing. Do I say healing? Because as you write, you're like, oh, really? This is what I went through. And there are feelings that you never really sat down, ruminated, and understood what you went through when you went through an experience. So when you write is when you realize, okay, so this is what was happening, and you're able to relate, unpack, and then put that where it belongs, on the shelves, in your cabinets, wherever it belongs. And that is my psyche and how I look at the issues. And so my mantra, as you have said, Silenzio, Bruno. Silenzio is silence in Italian. Then Bruno. Bruno is a character in a movie. There's a children's movie known as Luca. Luca is a movie I watched with my children sometime back in 2021. We just went to the movies. It was premiering and it was so exciting. So it is this sea monster, a boy, who would have the power to leave the water, come on land, become a human being, and pretend, but in the unfortunate event that water touches their skin, they will turn into a sea monster. So you can imagine they were living a very, high adrenaline life while on land, taking care that water doesn't touch them, lest people will be like, this is not a human, it's a monster. And then in the evening, they would go back, to the sea. And so while they were on land, they were trying new things. For example, one of them was riding a bicycle. And Luca had a friend who was trying to teach him to ride the bicycle down the hill. And so Luca was so scared, and the friend was like, you have a problem. Your problem is one. You have this very big Bruno in your head who is telling you not to do or you're not able to do. So what you're supposed to do is to silence that Bruno. So Silenzio Bruno. And he was like, Silenzio Bruno. Who is Bruno? shout it louder, Silencio Bruno, Silencio Bruno. And they were able to take the bike, go down the hill, and it was a very amazing ride, and they were able to fly with the birds and fall back into the sea where they became the monsters. So for me, that has been my mantra. Anytime my inner critic kicks in and tries to tell me, you cannot speak, look at all these people, you cannot, write that story. What will people say when they read your story? You cannot afford to do that or speak in front of these people. Who are you to give your opinion? Then I quickly just say, Silencio Bruno. And I go ahead and do what I'm supposed to do. So that has been my mantra, and that is what I have indicated in the book. And I also reflected a lot about the many things that I was able to do by silencing that critic and the ripple effect. Sometimes we are meant to impact people. We are meant to bring change. We are meant to influence others so that they are able to bring out the best in themselves. But if that inner critic overpowers us and we are not able to live and do what we are supposed to do, then as Mr. Doso said earlier, we really leave a big gap, which then many people who are supposed to benefit from hearing our opinions, looking at what we've done, getting inspiration from our work, then they become better versions of themselves. So in the book, I'm bringing out instances, leadership moments where I took a leap of faith, where really, in my own estimation, I wouldn't think it was possible. For example, where I work, or most of my career, for one reason or another, unfortunate or unfortunate, I have always been the youngest person in the room, the only or the one of the few ladies in the room. So I have really come face to face with gender bias, ageism, and sexism. Because then you are always a minority in the room. And that gives you a sense of self-guarding in a way that you don't find yourself in a place where people will judge you wrongly. And because of that, I have this thing, perfection, preparing. Like if I have a meeting, I will read and prepare for that meeting. It's like I'm going to war. Unajua, unajiva, so that by the time you get there, when an issue comes up, you are able to respond to the issue. And I came to realize, it is that perfectionism, planning, over planning is actually self-sabotage. Wanting all the ducks to be in a row before you start. Before you speak, you want to have all your facts. You want to be sure what you're saying is correct. That is self-sabotage. Because then I realized men will just say what they think is right, and that will be okay. Then you are like, oh really? Is that what all he could say? And the room is wowed, but me, I have more that I could say and make a difference. So this is a very important topic, and I would really invite us to look into what we have written, and especially there are so many tools, so many recommendations that will help us to improve. There's also an issue I've addressed about women in leadership because of my experience. Why are there fewer women in the pipeline? Because we are many when we leave university, then the number keeps pinning, and as the pipeline goes further, you find very few women. So why? So I enrolled for courses on women in leadership, and I discovered we have something known as, they've been coined as the glass effects. So there are several glass effects. We all know about the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is just this. It's a metaphor for barriers that are unseen. Despite your qualification, the fact that you're a woman makes you not able to break. For some reason you can't break, but men will be able to break that ceiling and reach the epitome of their career. There's also the glass escalator. The glass escalator is where we are together, we are colleagues, we've graduated from campus, we have the same qualification. But now when an opportunity comes up, the guy gets on the escalator. and I am here on the stairs trying, but I can never catch up. But why? And especially where there is parity in qualification and all the other aspects that are required for the job. So why do we have that inequality of how women ascend and how men ascend? The other one is the glass cliff. You know, a cliff kama hapa. So glass cliff is where now we are in a very precarious situation. It's a downtown, the company is not doing well. Or, you know, we are in a pandemic, COVID, for example. So it is the time now the woman is very quickly given a leadership role, where you may either make it or not, or if you do, I mean, you will really perform dismally. And then they will say, you see now, they want to be given leadership roles, but now when they are given those roles, they don't perform. So we need to be sensitive as ladies. No matter the fact that you really want to grow in your career, is this a glass cliff position? So you have to ask yourself, because it can set you up for failure, and it has consequences, which I'm now addressing in the book, the consequences of glass cliff positions. Because we are eager to say, even me, I want to grow in my career. So we quickly take up, but the men will be very averse to say, that one, I don't think I will make it. And we've seen, even internationally, you can see, when European, what is it called, when the Brexit, when UK was going through separating the Brexit, the Prime Minister was Theresa May. She actually midwifed the process of the Brexit. And that, I think, did not come out well at the end of her term, her performance, and people will still argue to date whether Brexit was right or wrong. There's a time we also had a woman leader in the was it in the World Bank or in the IMF? And you know, when she was a leader there were also issues about performance and all. That's the time she was put there to be the leader in the IMF. So mine is just to say, be conscious of the glass cliff positions. No matter how much you are eager to move up in your career, be sure, because then when you get there, you will definitely tip off, fall, and the damage, the reputational risk, you'll be left licking your wounds, and it will be a very long time before you can buy back that reputation and the credibility. Then the other one is the glass labyrinth. The glass labyrinth, as women, we are mothers, we are sisters, we are friends, and there are so many things that happen in the course of our career. We go, we have children, we come back to the career. So many starts, so many stops. So many lefts, rights, up, downs. And by the time, and I think I could relate with Michelle, your story, when you did your webinar, and I could see a glass labyrinth. And that really, because the course is not smooth. You know, for gentlemen, they wouldn't break for maternity, take leave to take care of the children, or take leave to take care of the home. And so by the time you come back to your course, so much has changed. A lot of water has gone down the bridge. It becomes so hard to fit in again. So mine was just, I learned a lot as I wrote also, and I was able to put, you know, the knowledge to the facts and the things that have happened in my life. And a very important aspect also that I was able to recognize and bring forth, which I have been practicing, but I had never thought about it very closely, is how to practice emotional intelligence. And we know Daniel Goleman is one of the authors who has really, really written a lot about emotional intelligence. And one of the things he says, emotional intelligence actually is one of the things that improves the quality of your life and the quality of your performance as a woman. And so in the same respect, the how to react, especially when you're in a confrontation, or do I say you're in a confrontation, or you're in an argument mode. So there is the 6-second rule. 6-second rule is scientifically proven that so that you are not fighting and you're always able to deploy emotional intelligence, you count 6 seconds before you can respond. And it really works. So when you're in a situation where, Kaleche, you were saying, you wish you had a gun. So if you wait for 6 seconds, scientifically, all your emotions dissipate. And then the logic kicks in. So if you had a gun and you are livid, you are about to shoot someone, and you relax for 6 seconds, your brain will tell you, do not take that gun. But if you don't wait for those 6 seconds, the results will be fatal. So I try and practice that, and 6 seconds is a short time, but if you're in a tense moment, it is a very long time. So it is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So imagine if you're in a tense argument and you look at someone, they've told you something for that time. It's a very long time. But it will avert any fatality. It will prevent any good relationship from collapsing, and it will enable you make better decisions and keep your relationships for longer. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I wish to share. Thank you so much. Enjoy your time.
Wow. Thank you so much. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed reading your chapter. I felt like it was it was calming, steady, authoritative. I loved how you married the wisdom that you've gained from governance with, the inner work of self-emancipation. I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for heeding to the call. What made you say yes eventually, actually?
To say yes to? I have the books. I read a lot of books. So when Mr. Dosso told me, are you interested? In fact, I think he followed up because I was like ruminating. What will I write? And then I realized, but I have read so much. Now when I started writing, then I would be like, oh yeah, there's that book. Oh, this experience. Yeah. So for me, it is very good because then all this knowledge, at least I have left it and someone is able to look at it. And as Kaleche said, I have left something to be remembered eternally. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are excited to purchase a book if you haven't bought a copy and to actually read it. Are you excited?